As many of you know, one of the areas that I spend quite a lot of my time, not exclusively, but a lot of my time working on is supporting people with eating disorders who are struggling with food. Food is the problem, but the truth is food is also often part of the solution. So unfortunately, the less we eat, the louder the thoughts around eating disorders become. So food becomes part of that solution. So it's being mindful of that if we're skipping meals, our anxiety will probably go up. If we are restricting or not eating as much, we might find that our thoughts around food become more obsessive as the brain starts to become more food focused. The food becomes the problem, and when the brain has a problem, it becomes very, very obsessed with it. So the eating disorder loop kind of gets stuck. The less food we eat, the more stress the brain feels, the more the controlling thoughts around food become. But the pattern that the brain holds on to for solving that problem is more control, which often results in more restriction, and that means less food, which means more stress, etc., etc., and that increases our feelings of self-worth. And it might be a surprise for you to hear, but often, body image and low self-esteem are often symptoms of the restriction rather than the reason why we restrict in the first place. So the problem then lies in when we try to eat more, the thoughts around what we're doing become louder. Some people will comment that they have a voice. Some people just have very, very observant, very clear thoughts around what they should and shouldn't do. They feel huge amounts of guilt, fear, shame. And again, that loads their stress system, which dictates more of the same behaviour. It's really difficult. Those that have ever experienced it or witnessed somebody experiencing this will know that, it's not a case of just stop it. It doesn't work like that. It's not that easy. The eating disorder thinks it's serving a very, very good purpose in keeping the person that is experiencing it safe. It's so perverse, it doesn't make sense, but it does when you understand the neurology and why the brain is doing it. So the more food we start to eat, the more anxieties and guilt we feel. So it seems counterproductive, but we've got to push through, because once the brain starts to feel reassured that it's going to be nourished again, then all of the controlling behaviours start to release. But it is not linear and it's not an easy journey. So it's just being able to support those people in understanding where these thoughts are coming from, offering them that support, helping them to get through these really tricky transitions where food really is part of the solution, but still very much, the controls that the brain thinks it needs. So understanding in my work is what underpins everything that I do. Helping my clients to understand so that they can start to alleviate the feelings of guilt and start to push through so that they can actually restore nourishment in their brain. That's the key element. And once the brain starts to trust in the system, it starts to release those controls. But as I say, for anyone that's been through it, it's not that easy. It's not a case of just doing it. It's a case of having support and taking baby steps and then being able to build that confidence. So I hope that I can offer some reassurance. If you're struggling or you know someone who is struggling, do get in touch. It's very, very tough being the carer too. I hope this message reaches those that need it, and I'd like to offer you hope as well. It's not always a negative long-term destination. It can be incredibly positive, and freedom can be achieved in many cases.